Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the ignition coils on this 2003 Nissan Maxima. We go through the simple part of replacing the coil in the first part of the video. The front three coils are very easy to replace. All you'll need to replace them is a T30 Torx driver and a 10mm socket with a ratchet or a 10mm wrench. Then we detail how to take the upper intake plenum off, which allows you to get to the rear three coils. And this requires a few more tools, pliers, and a 12mm socket and ratchet in addition to your 10mm.
Okay, start with the T30 Torx driver and remove the 4 bolts that hold the top engine cover. Okay, so the coil's on this side of the engine, really easy to see. 10mm socket, remove the bolt. Okay. And there's a connector here. They have just a tab on the top. Push the tab, I'm pushing the top tab with that finger. Disconnect. I'll finish taking this bolt out. Okay. And then the coils come right out. Okay, new coil from 1AAuto, just like the original. It's going to go right in there, just the same. Down in. Make sure it pushes straight down. Reconnect the lead. Bolt back in. Okay, and then you can see the 2 in the front here, just as easy as that one. And you may be saying, well, how about the rear ones? Well, the rear ones are pretty easy, but you do have to take this intake plenum off. And I'm going to show you that real quick. Okay, we're going to start up top here. Flat blade screwdriver, loosen up the clamp that holds the intake hose on. Make sure that's nice and loose. Okay. And then make sure you can pull this off the intake, and then we're going to disconnect this green connector here. Okay, just push on a little tab that's on the front here. Take that off, and then we're going to disconnect this middle line here. Okay, pull that clamp off, and then use my pliers. Grab onto the hose, make sure the hose twists a little bit, and pull that off. Okay, 10mm socket. We're going to take off this bolt here. And let that bracket go to the side. And we're going to take off this bolt here. Okay, put these up in there. That allows that to come off. And now we're going to use a 12mm socket. Okay, and I can't really show them to you because they're back in here, but if you just take your hand and reach back in here, you'll feel two bolts, okay? They're going in this way, okay? You need to remove those two bolts. That's a bracket holding up the back of the plenum. And as I'm looking back here, I can see that there's another vacuum line. I'm just going to use my pliers. There's a clamp. Squeeze the clamp. Okay. Move the clamp off. Use the pliers. Get the hose to twist. Pull it off. Take my extension, and there are two 12mm nuts on each end, and then three 12mm bolts to remove. And disconnect this lead. Take my screwdriver and pry out the clip that holds the harness. Let's take a screwdriver and again pry the clip off that holds the harness. You should be able to push on the two teeth on each side. Okay, so around here on the back side, you can see I disconnected this here. There's also two connectors, little tabs. Disconnect them, then squeeze this clip as well and disconnect this line. Pull these two vacuum lines up and out of their clip, vice versa. Disconnect that connection, and pull up. Now you can lift it up and position it out of the way enough. I'll show you here. You can lift it up and out of the way enough that you can now get to the coils. May want to just have somebody help you out, lift it out of the way for that middle one. That's probably the most difficult one.
And I'm just going to fast forward as I put the plenum back on. It's pretty much a reverse of the procedure. Make sure that there's nothing, no wires or anything between the upper intake plenum and the lower intake before you put it down. Get it down into place. Make sure that you get the intake hose over the opening of the plenum on the driver's side.
You can see down there, it's
and just make sure you get it down in place.
Move that out of the way. Just check underneath, make sure that there's nothing between the plenum and the engine intake. I can see it go down on this stud here. Move that, and it goes down. Let's lift it up on the back side here a little bit. There. Pull the intake tube up. place. Once you get that intake tube on, it goes down nice and easy.
Okay, once it's in place, take and put the 2 nuts and the 3 bolts that hold the upper intake to the lower intake. I put those in place. Then I actually put the 2 bolts that hold the rear of the intake to the bracket, put those in place and tighten them up. And after I've tightened those rear ones up, then I tighten the plenum down. And you want to tighten it down to about 25 to 30 foot-pounds. And then just carefully, I basically kind of try and go methodically from the passenger side rear, reconnect the 2 connections back there, and there's 2 vacuum lines, then come around to the front and bolt on the 2 brackets and make sure that the connections are reconnected, then around to the throttle body and air intake side, bolt everything back together, make sure all the electrical connections are connected and all the vacuum connections are connected. And basically what I do is, after I'm done, I just look very carefully around. You basically look for any clean or shiny spot. Basically when you take connectors apart, you'll notice that they're dirty, but then when you take them apart, the part that had fit together is nice and clean. So it's a good idea just to look around, look for any clean spots or shiny spots that might indicate that there's something that hasn't been reconnected. And once you have it all reconnected, then you can put your intake cover back on. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.